From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, June 21st. Prepare for the hottest day of the year. Going to crank up the heat and humidity to officially start summer today. Highs look to rise in the mid-90s. All right, some perspective here. As far as how hot this beginning of summer is, the last time highs hit the 90s to begin this season was 2012. And yes, today is the summer solstice, so welcome to summer, everybody. A baby boy is found safe after someone stole the car he was in. Now Indianapolis police are trying to figure out how everything played out. Okay, so police say a 6-month-old boy was reported missing around 9:30 last night. Then they said he was found nearby with a relative just hours later. Police released a picture of the vehicle that they're looking for. A man stole it from a Marathon gas station on Michigan Street east of I-70. Officers say that it's a white Ford Fusion with damage to the passenger side. IMPD also shared some photos of a suspected carjacker wearing a black hat, red polo, and black sandals. You can find both pictures of the car and the suspect on wishtv.com. But IMPD does say that there are many moving parts to this investigation.
Every indication that we have at this point in time leads us to believe that we in fact did have an endangered child and a stolen vehicle with a child inside of it. Again, I can only describe this as a very bizarre investigation, so we're trying to figure out where this went sideways and as to what we're really dealing with here.
Officials say an investigation may lead to more formal charges as they try to piece together the situation. IMPD says more needs to be done as the city surpasses 100 homicides this year. It's the third time in 3 years Indianapolis reached that mark in June. And a crime overnight could push the number even higher. IMPD says a man is now dead after being shot on the far west side. IMPD officers found the victim unresponsive on Sunfield Court just before midnight. He died at the hospital. IMPD also found a person shot at Michigan and Sherman Streets just after 1 o'clock. Police say that person is stable. Police also found a person shot and critically wounded yesterday afternoon off Brookville Road. And IMPD marked the city's 100th homicide at the new Criminal Justice Center Sunday night. 25-year-old D'Angelo Smith is accused of killing his cellmate, Charles Barron. IMPD says the city now stands at 102 homicides for the year. That's 15 fewer than last year at this time. Republican candidate for Marion County Prosecutor Cindy Carrasco released a statement saying, "Our community is facing a public safety crisis, and we deserve better. We cannot allow record homicides and other violent crimes to become normal or acceptable." News 8 requested a comment from current prosecutor Ryan Mears' office, but we didn't hear back. And this year's 102nd homicide stems from a shooting 7 years ago. IMPD tells us they responded to a shooting on 34th Street near Moeller Road in September of 2015. Officers say that's when they found 24-year-old Titus Mathis shot. IMPD says Mathis died this past February. Police say an autopsy found the cause of death was from complications from his injuries from that shooting in 2015. In Seymour, police are investigating the discovery of a body in a creek. Officers found the body early Friday afternoon near the Burkhart Boulevard Bridge on the east side of Seymour. Investigators say the body had been there for several days. Police haven't released the person's name or how they died. Indiana will soon see another record increase in state gas tax, just as experts predict fuel prices will rise even more in July. The State Department of Revenue bases its calculations on the average price of gas for the last 30 days. So once a month, our gasoline use tax changes. Right now, we pay 74.4 cents a gallon in taxes. That's broken down to use tax, excise tax, and federal tax. On July 1st, the use tax increases 5.1 cents to 29.1 cents. On top of that, Indiana's excise tax that pays for infrastructure projects automatically goes up by a penny to 33 cents. Add in the federal tax of 18.4 cents, and Hoosiers will soon be paying more than 80 cents a gallon in total taxes.
When the prices get high, state collects more, and they're additional paying for the consumer. It's sort of a double whammy on them. So we're one of 11 states that does that, and only really we are the only state to be as high as 7%. Most of the other states have around 3 or 4% on fuel, so it's particularly harmful for Hoosier motorists.
IMA says Indiana now has the third highest tax rate in the nation. He also says it could continue to go up when August rolls around because if prices go up, taxes go up. Now there's a call for Governor Holcomb to suspend the gasoline use tax. It's something our surrounding states like Illinois have done. Instead, Holcomb and Republican lawmakers say they plan to call a special session to provide a tax rebate to Hoosiers due to rising inflation. President Biden says he'll decide this week whether to call for a timeout on federal gas tax. A temporary pause would knock 18 cents off the overall price per gallon. Biden says a team from the administration will meet with major oil company CEOs before making a decision. He's also looking into sending out gas rebate cards. Former Labor Secretary Robert Reich says a windfall tax on oil company profits could help.
These companies are enjoying record profits right now. Why should they be raising their prices? Why not have a windfall profits tax? Use the money to eliminate gas taxes on both the federal and at the state level.
A final decision on gas tax holiday would come from Congress. Experts say high gas prices won't keep America from driving, though, over the 4th of July weekend. AAA predicts nearly 48 million people will take a trip of 50 miles or more, and a record number may drive. The prediction is 42 million will buckle up and head out. That's an all-time high. The expectation for air travel is nearly the opposite. About 3.5 million will fly, the fewest in more than a decade. Former Vice President Mike Pence says President Biden is driving the economy into the abyss. Pence gave an economic speech yesterday at the University Club of Chicago. He pointed to gas prices and the baby formula shortage as main components of the economic crisis.
Unique about this moment is that this economic wound that we're experiencing is entirely self-inflicted. Unlike the Great Depression of the 1930s, the stagflation of the 1970s, or even the Great Recession of 2008, the economic woes now upon us have been caused almost single-handedly by one person, the 46th President of the United States of America, Joe Biden. You know, never in my lifetime has there been a greater disconnect between the President and the American people.
Pence did not mention the January 6th hearings. He instead called on Republicans to look toward the future, not back at the 2020 election. And today, the committee investigating the U.S. Capitol insurrection will hold its next hearing. Lawmakers will hear from election workers and local officials who fended off former President Donald Trump's pressure to overturn the election. The committee says it'll show evidence Trump was involved in a scheme to submit fake slates of electors. 3 Republicans will testify. Georgia State Secretary Brad Raffensperger will discuss Trump's phone call asking Raffensperger to find more than 11,000 votes that could flip the state to red. His deputy, Gabe Sterling, along with Arizona House Speaker Rusty Bowers, will also appear.
I talked to him a couple of times, and they had asked me to take some steps that I just wouldn't do, and I told him I voted for him. I've campaigned for him, but I told him I wasn't going to do anything illegal.
That was Bowers, who you just heard from. A former election worker from Georgia, Wandrea Shea Moss, will also testify. She was accused by Trump and others of carrying out a fake ballot scheme in Fulton County, Georgia. The hearing starts at 1 this afternoon. A new ABC News poll finds views of Trump's responsibility for the Capitol breach haven't changed much, despite the House Select Committee's 3 hearings. The poll is based on surveys of more than 500 adults from Friday and Saturday. In the poll, 58% thought Trump bears a good amount of responsibility for the attack. That's the same percentage as a December ABC poll. It also found the same percentage say Trump should be charged with a crime related to the attack. Major drugstore chains differ on their COVID-19 vaccination plans for young children. The CDC is recommending the vaccine for all children between 6 months and 5 years old. CVS says it will vaccinate those as young as 18 months starting today. Walgreens will offer shots to those at least 3 years old. Wish TV medical expert, former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams offers advice to parents who are still skeptical.
The first thing I would say is you shouldn't be ashamed to ask questions, and we shouldn't shame anyone for having questions about vaccines for kids. Talk to your doctor and know that the American Academy of Pediatrics, the organization that represents the people who take care of our kids, recommends these vaccines in addition to the FDA and the CDC because they've seen that for hospitalization, for death, the benefit outweighs the risk. But don't take it from me. Take it from your pediatrician. Talk to your doctor. And make a good choice for you and your family.
Since many pharmacies are not vaccinating babies and toddlers, parents may have to go into doctors' offices. Riley Children's Health says it will offer evening and Saturday hours at 5 primary care locations this week by appointment. At least 6 people are injured and 3 critically after a taxi hit a cyclist, jumped a curb, and then hit several people on the sidewalk in Manhattan. It happened around 1 yesterday afternoon. Witnesses rushed to the scene to help. They said the cab driver seemed to be in shock. A group of bystanders got him out of the car and worked together to lift the vehicle to free a woman who was trapped underneath it. Police say it appears to have been an accident. An investigation is underway to determine exactly what happened. United Airlines is calling for the government to step in after an increase in delays and cancellations over the weekend. The company's CEO wants the government to enforce its own rules limiting flight numbers so that airports don't bog down. Scott Kirby says airlines are facing challenges stemming from the pandemic, including low passenger numbers and staff shortages, including those in air traffic control.
I don't think frustration is the right word because I understand it's happening all across the economy. What I don't like is at United, we prepared for this. 2 years ago, we started preparing the Build Back plan, knowing it would be difficult and trying to, for the most part, covering all the things that were within our control. We got deals done with our pilots. We don't have staffing issues. We prepared for those things. And so some of these other things, and we made such a difference on what was happening to customers and had the experience for customers and the improvement. And so I'm frustrated that the customer experience is backsliding for things that are a lot of times outside of our control.
Kirby also warns a major pilot shortage threatens to cripple the industry for years to come. The American Academy of Pediatrics is emphasizing the dangers of co-sleeping. It's the Academy's first update to its safe sleeping guidelines since 2016. According to the Academy, sharing a bed with your infant significantly raises the risk of injuries and even death. While the organization advises against sleeping in the same bed, it says you should sleep in the same room as your baby for at least 6 months. The Academy also recommends against inclined sleepers, monitors that say they reduce the risk of SIDS, and putting any extras in cribs like toys, blankets, and pillows. All right, today is the start of the week-long Spark Fishers Festival. It's also a celebration of the city's 150th birthday. The community concert is happening tonight at 7. It features Fisher's Music Works White River Wind Symphony at the Nickel Plate District Amphitheater. Admission is free. No tickets are required. Food, non-alcoholic beverages, chairs, and blankets are welcome. There's a 5K run and walk and kids fun run Wednesday. Car and art show is Thursday. Friday night concert with Bruno Mars tribute band called Uptown Funk is Friday night. And then there's a street fair Saturday from 3 to 10. And summer starts with an Air Quality Action Day today. The Department of Environmental Management expects high ozone levels in Marion County and most of central, western, and southern Indiana. The declaration means weather conditions could cause breathing problems for some. IDEM asks you to drive less, avoid gassing up until the evening, and conserve energy at home. Also today is the return of monumental yoga. Bring a mat to Monument Circle starting at 2. Organizers say there'll be food and drinks, live music, and mini classes for every level of yoga experience. Then at 7 tonight, everyone will gather in a community yoga class hosted by several local studios. The event coincides with International Day of Yoga. And finally, to a shout out to everyone who helped Anthony Calhoun reach a record. AC's Golf Classic raised $450,000 to benefit Teachers' Treasures. A whole T-sheet of famous faces helped AC's mission at Woodland Country Club yesterday. We caught up with Colts head coach Frank Reich and IU basketball's Mike Woodson.
I mean, AC is a model and inspiration to all of us, a role model for all of us. I mean, we all know you come across him, he just got this magnetic personality that he's just a giver. And so I'm happy to be part of it. Yeah, this it touches home with me. My parents were school teachers, their whole life. It's very meaningful.
Lending a hand to kids that really need help today. I mean, it's tough for kids today growing up. I mean, you think about all the things that are going on, but man, AC obviously is doing a great job, with this tournament.
AC's outings have raised nearly $3 million over the years. The money helps teachers with supplies for their classrooms, benefiting children whose families may not be able to afford supplies. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com And follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.